Today, in this episode, we are talking about things that the general public don't know about the music industry.
Mystery of the industry.
There you go. There's a lot of people who don't know what's all involved in creating music, getting it out there, that people can hear it. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. You know, the general public, they love listening to music.
Fans.
Fans. They just love listening to music, and that's as far as it goes. There is no thought process as to, I wonder if the artist, like how much money they had to pay to record this song. How did they get it to radio?
Whoa, there's a lot involved.
There is. There's never that. I can say, I think with quite a bit of confidence, there's never that thought behind for people.
Because they're listening, number one, to either, it moves them, something to hear, to listen to resonate with, and just work. Mm-hmm. If they're working, cleaning, whatever, I can attest to that. The type of music that you listen to connects with you, right? The emotion. So if you're happy, you want to listen to happy, upbeat music. Mm-hmm. If you're feling down, you just kind of want to hear it. Just you lean that way, that you want to hear maybe depressing music. Not depressing,
or something that makes you drive down the road really fast. It's people connect with the emotion.
A connection. It's a connection. With the music, the emotion, it's all encompassed together.
And that's as far as it goes. Like I say, there's never a thought behind it. I wonder why, not so much why they wrote the song, but what was the process behind this song?
Process.
Right? Yeah. It's the process. Yeah. So that's what we're going to elaborate on today as music artists that have been in the industry for many years now. The process that we've been through as to recording a song, getting it to radio, if it gets to radio, even the like when you see the cover art, what goes on behind that, and the thought process and getting those photos done, and the cost all involved, even for gigs, the practice time, the shows, the equipment you need, and so on and so forth.
The evolving. And everything has evolved through the years. I mean, there's a lot that goes on.
There is. So let's start with radio.
Let's do it.
Yeah. All right. Or even the recording process.
Before getting to radio.
Yeah, before getting to radio, yes.
You start with the writing, the ideas, the creativity involved, and then moving on to the, writing, leading on to recording. Releasing that recording. And then promoting.
Yes, exactly. So writing, well, that's free.
And that's the best. That's the
best part.
That's the best part.
Yeah.
I will agree.
Mm-hmm.
Writing has been, just the amazing fueling of emotions and just letting everything out. You just need to put your emotions down on paper sometimes. Mm-hmm. It's journaling.
Yeah.
And that can lead to the songs, not just poems, but songs. But it's your feelings. It's
your thoughts and everything. So the songwriting, there's the creativity there and everything. So now you got this song and you think, oh, this is a song that other people need to hear.
I have to interject here.
Yes.
As a songwriter, when I first started to write, I didn't want to share my thoughts. I wrote and I was very critical about my songs, and I didn't really, it's your baby, right?
Yeah.
You don't really want to let it out into the world.
Mm-hmm. And I felt the same, like that it wasn't good enough.
Yeah. But writing with others is really a good process because you grow as a songwriter. But anyway,
but us writing together, like we met 11 years ago, and we did a lot of writing together. And so there's quite a few songs in there that we felt that weren't worthy, I guess, or kind of thought they were worthy, but we were just in that mode of songwriting.
Yeah, the creativity was by far the most important thing at the time.
Yes, it was.
And it does, you feel that more passion.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely a passion.
It definitely is, because as soon as you start making it where, okay, we need to start recording this and getting it out, now it turns into a business. Definitely. So I think back to when we started recording our first song, right? Lonesome Town. And now it's like, okay, it's when we were just writing, it was it was so much fun. And now, like you say, it's a business now. So things you have to think about if we're going to promote this song to the general public is now we have to get it recorded. And now we need a cover art. We need to get a picture done.
Yeah.
And where are we going to release it to? Are we going to release it to major market radio, or we're just going to do it on digital platforms?
I will say, in my experience, releasing a song to major market, to the radio stations out there, you need a tracker, because if you're going to do this by yourself, they're not going to listen to you. You can send your songs out there to the stations, but you're who?
Yeah. As an independent artist,
you need someone to represent you. So that said, you usually hire a radio tracker, and those can cost up to $3,500 per song for 3 months.
Yes.
And they will follow and continue reaching out to the station to make sure that they're playing the song, if they like the song, if they even accept the song.
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of people I've been asked over the years, how come I don't hear your songs on the radio? Your songs are great. How come I don't hear them on the radio? And this is why. Because it takes money. And as an independent artist, like Danita said, we have to hire a radio tracker. That person costs you, starting pretty much, I've 2,000.
2,000 to 3,500
and up.
Depends,
right? So now you have to pay this radio tracker. And you can do it as yourself and use a particular system. But the radio stations, they just look at it. Oh, who is this? I've never heard of this person before.
File 13.
Yeah, File 13 is because they get hundreds of songs every day from record labels, from their artists that are vying to get a spot on the radio. Yeah. So record labels have their how can I say it nicely? They have their ins with radio stations. And so when a label contacts a radio station, then they're more recognizable for their artists. As an independent artist like ourselves, like I say, they just look at it and go, who are these?
Nobody's.
And nobody's. And it's File 13. So now if I've used a system, particular system that is out there, DMDS, I have to pay for that system. I have to pay to upload my song and have it spit out to all these radio stations across Canada, hoping it will get on a radio station. Also, if I hire a radio tracker, once again, I'm hoping that it will get played on certain radio stations. So there is the cost of that and hope that you get played on a radio station.
And the most popular artists getting airplay, I mean, sometimes I hear people say, that song's been on rotation for so long. I'm so sick and tired of that song already. I mean, at first when it came out, it was awesome. But it's been on there so much. They don't give the indies any room to grow or to, get their songs out there. So it is a dog eat dog world.
Exactly what went through my mind.
And, I've myself personally have gone through all of that. But I think
so have I.
It's just, a lot of, it's a brutal. It can be brutal. And the passion that musicians have and artists have is to pursue and continue and push with the hope like you
Yes.
said, with that belief that maybe one day,
Yeah.
and luckily, or I mean,
Yeah. Hopefully your song tweaks a music producer's, not a music producer, but a music program director at a radio station, that it tweaks their ear going, I like this. And it's from somebody I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah, I've had a lot of program directors even releasing songs on my own tell me my song's not country enough.
that's questionable
Yeah,
right
yeah.
there. I think fans are the ones that need to, put the artists they love, the songs they love. They're the ones that are pushing or should push for their, favorite artists. Okay.
But on a flip side of that,
Oh.
I did have some music program directors tell me that, like we love it when people phone in and say, can you play so-and-so song? And then they go, but we also know when it's your family and friends calling.
Oh.
Yes. And they go, and if that happens, then we won't play your song.
How do they know?
I know I've had program directors tell me that.
Okay.
Yeah. So you run into that kind of thing, like as well, right? That so it's like, so what do you do, right?
Well, right now, I think, like when I mentioned how things have evolved, I think now is a really good time in a lot of ways to be an independent artist, with the streaming radio, but the money coming back from what you invest is not even close to what we
exactly.
put in,
So let's talk a little bit more about our
Sure.
cost and then how much money we get in return.
We're laughing because it is a laughing matter, right there.
Right. So even before we were sending to radio, recording costs. People,
yes, let's start there.
because I don't think people realize how much it costs to record a song. It depends what music producer you are using. It depends what studio you go to. And so those are a couple of big things. And depending on how big of a sound you want your song to be, you can spend anywhere from a minimum of $1,000 per song to $50,000 and more for one song. I personally paid almost to have it recorded and going track to radio for one song, $10,000. One song.
It adds up.
And it did not get played on major market radio.
I remember recording my first album, 12 songs, original songs, about $25,000.
Yep.
That wasn't counting the photo shoot. That wasn't counting the graphics.
Yeah.
And I actually had all my lyrics printed in my booklet in the CD cover. So that was, all that was all extra. So, I mean, I can't even begin to, break it down to how much it actually cost in total. I did send my CD music overseas, and I did get some, recognition a little bit there, but I didn't pursue it because I had started working with a band and we were on tour. So, and then I left my original music behind.
Right.
If I would have pursued it, maybe something might have come of it.
But still, as an independent artist, you still have to. It's a business, so you do have to keep putting money into it and keep for promotion, and then also there is networking that's involved. Meeting music program directors and people that are in the music industry, meeting those people at say Canadian Country Music Week or whatever, and networking with them. Even then, as an independent, it's still really tough. I have done it many times over the years, and it seems like until you are with a label or you're with an agency, perhaps that, then they just don't seem to look at you the same.
And I hate to bring this up, but the age.
Yes.
Happens. It is an issue in our industry because all the young artists coming out, labels look at them and they say, oh, longevity.
Yes.
This artist has longevity.
Mm-hmm.
Older artists, seasoned artists, doesn't matter how good you are. Well, I guess there are exceptions, but mostly they will say, oh, they won't last very long.
Yeah, that's
so
right. Yeah.
we're not going.
It's almost like they
invest.
think we're going to die in 5 years. Right? Yeah. It's just crazy. It's crazy how it all works. And the reason why we really wanted to do this podcast is because I was telling Danita, I said, you know what? This has been discussed for many years amongst musicians, artists, that, like people just don't know about what all happens behind the scenes, but it always seems like nobody wants to talk about it.
Don't know why.
As musicians, you don't. Yeah, it seems like you don't want to talk about it.
It sounds because they don't want to whine.
Yeah,
is it? Because this is my reaction, or some people's reaction to me when I say, "Oh, it costs this much, and I'm not getting much back." What I'm putting, yeah, but you're living your dream, and you're passionate about, aren't you? Like if you love what you're doing,
yeah.
Well, I love what I'm doing.
Yeah,
absolutely, I'm passionate about it, but. It would be nice to get a little bit of residual income coming and, to help to continue doing this.
Exactly. Because speaking of residual income, so the way that we make our income is through different avenues. We have CDs. They don't sell as much anymore because there's no CDs in new cars. No CD players being purchased, or they're not even for sale, I don't think, anymore, unless you go to a secondhand store or something
and find your CD in the middle of the rack.
Or find an old CD player to play, or hurts. Or you've kept it forever, right? And then also there are different avenues, what are called mechanical royalties. That is whatever you sell online. Right? You get those royalties, or from selling your CDs. There is performance royalties. So when we go out and play, like a festival or a gig, we can submit to our agency called SOCAN, where we've registered our songs.
Only if the charge, if the entrance fee is
$6 or more. Then we can say, we have to submit a poster or something that proves that, and then we get a royalty from our performed songs.
And I will say some only charge $5 at the door, so we miss out on our royalties.
We miss out on that, which on those royalties.
Really, I actually have inquired with SOCAN.
Yes,
and
exactly.
They even said we don't know why.
Yeah, why is it $6? It's just ridiculous. So it should be it should be $5 and up. And then there's radio royalties. So when you do get played on radio, whether it's major market or internet radio, then we also get their royalties from that. There's a code that we have to put into our music. So when we record a song, we go and get it mastered, which means it goes to someone who has to increase the volume and the clarity of everything, and they embed a code that we get from another agency that has to be in this song so that it is tracked and we can get our royalties from that. Yeah. So that also applies to Spotify, Apple Music, all the digital platforms. So now those royalties are very minimal. When we put our songs out to Spotify and Apple and all the digital platforms, we have to use another platform to upload to that distributes our song to all of those platforms. So now when somebody streams our music or actually buys it online, we get, let me see, you buy a song for 99 cents, we'll see maybe 0.004, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
The numbers are really long as to what we get.
So like CD Babies, like some of these they're taking their cut. So we really don't get a whole lot.
Yeah,
it takes a lot of airplay, a lot of streaming.
Yeah, a lot of streaming, a lot of airplay. So you can see like very famous artists. They're with a label, and like they get a lot of streams, they get a lot of purchases, so they're making a lot of money. For us as independents, like we're out there, we're putting our stuff on social media, we keep, just doing our thing. But yeah, that's no matter if you're a famous artist or if you're independent, the amount that you get is still like 0.0005.
And you wonder why we're still doing this. The passion.
Yeah, for sure. But City Girls and
Cowgirls
is our new single as of May 17th and is available on all digital platforms. This was a fun song to write because we talked about everything that a city girl does and everything that a
cowgirl does.
That's right. And we brought it together, and it's actually a fun line dancing tune. Two-steppy line dancing. So have a listen on the digital platform of your choice. City Girls and Cowgirls. We're all just city girls and cowgirls.
It does take a lot out of us creatively wise.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Is that a word?
Creatively.
Creatively
wise. Yeah. So, so there's a lot of money that we have to put into it. A lot of thought that goes into it. So like I say, I'll take you through step by step again. We write the song. Now we want to record it. So we pick out where we're going to have it recorded, how much it's going to cost us, where we're going to get our cover art done, if we're going to get that professional photographer, or if we're going to just do our own. We've done both. We've done on our own. We've done professional photography. And then after it's recorded and mastered and the photography is all done, now we got to get it out on the platforms. So we pay to do that. And then people stream or buy on those platforms, and we get a little bit of money from that. And then there's our CDs, that people may purchase. And there again, when we buy CDs, there's all the design that has to go into that. We've done that all ourselves with the help of my husband. And, you submit that. And of course, there's quality versus not quality, but quantity. The more you buy, the less you have to pay per CD. So now you're buying 500 CDs that you
might not all
sell, right? So now you got boxes. I don't know how many musicians, and if you're a musician listening, put in the comments how many boxes of CDs you still have in your basement or garage. Yeah.
My previous,
I have from my Not Looking Back CD. I still have CDs of that. We still have Sugar and Spice CDs that we're always promoting and trying to sell, so it's, so it's always, we don't do this to complain. We're doing this to educate. People, because the general public just don't know that this is what all is involved of getting one song out to you.
It is a business, and it requires a lot of time and energy. It isn't a hobby anymore.
It is a business.
Not a hobby.
I used to go to music business conferences, and they always said there 90% business, 10% music. Yeah. And a lot of musicians will walk away from that because they don't want to do the work. There is a lot of work involved. And even after you release a song, there's the promotion. Anybody that sees us online, it's constant social media promotion all the time. You can't just release a song and then sit back and go, where is everybody? How come they're not listening? Because of social media and the way the online world is now today, I can't remember how many uploads there is to Spotify per day, but there's just millions. There's millions there's 8 billion people on this planet. So there's millions of musicians putting out their music every day. So you're vying for that spot
of every genre though.
Every genre.
You can imagine there's it's a huge huge amount.
Yeah.
But everybody's catering to different genres, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're in the country
Yeah.
genre, loaded. Everybody's like, so many people in
Yeah.
this, and it is becoming more and more popular.
Yeah, it is.
Actually,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember the last rock band that's been famous other than Nickelback, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we're not really. I know for myself, I'm not listening
But
to rock music that much. But yeah,
I know a lot of younger people are really liking country these days.
Yeah.
So it's kind of going back a little bit. So
because it's sounding a little rock. The little bit of fiddle.
a little bit of fiddle. Well, I don't know. Just everybody has their taste for sure.
Yeah.
But,
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to bring up producers.
Mm-hmm.
When I was recording, I had a really good producer very first time. But there are scammers out there. There are
Yes.
sharks, because I've
Oh.
also been scammed, and invested a lot of money in one project, and later to find out it just, it wasn't what it was.
Oh.
And so the songs never got released.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting with some masters
Yeah.
with collecting dust.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to listen to your gut too, right?
Well, and that's maybe where those songs can be revived.
But
right?
They're not my original songs,
Oh,
which is sad, because
Yeah.
I would only get mechanical rights,
Yeah.
performance rights, if I
Mhm.
did them.
Mm-hmm.
It was with another
group. Yeah.
group, of course. Right. But yeah, sometimes you just get those. They weren't breaks, but they were breaks in another way.
Right?
Broke my heart.
Yeah. So, as an independent artist, thank goodness for internet radio that's out there.
Oh, we appreciate those.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's so many people that have started internet radio stations because they realize that there are a lot of independent artists who are not getting heard, and so they just feel compelled, I guess, to start a radio station and have where people get to be heard. There's YouTube as well, which I'm very grateful for, but there again, there's thousands if not millions of uploads every day, because YouTube has it's everything, right? So not just music. So it's just finding our niche of people. So I've been in other businesses as well, where they go, well, if you just get a little chunk, like 1,000 people that are, are your people,
your followers,
that keep buying your stuff or whatever, and then that's where you can keep your business going with that as well, right? But with internet radio, it helps us also get on to different airwaves, because there's a lot of people that don't like listening to major market radio, because like you said at the beginning here of this episode, that you hear the same song 6 times a day,
the same artist,
yeah, exactly. So, and there's a lot of people that, myself included, I don't like listening to that, to hear that every day. I just heard this song an hour ago. I know there's lots more out there, and I want to hear something different. There it used to be with radio stations that you could go there as an artist yourself and go talk to the DJ.
Yeah.
And say, reminds me of Loretta Lynn,
that's
right?
The first one I thought.
Yeah, and there was a few others that did that. You've seen the movies where they drove around and took their 45s, their singles, to radio stations and asked the DJ to play their song, and if they really liked it, and that DJ played it, and so many people heard it, and then it just blew up.
Doesn't happen anymore.
No, it doesn't. You can't. You can't talk to a radio DJ anymore. Nope. It's all corporate now. Yeah. So it comes down from the top as to what they are supposed to play.
Local radio stations, though.
But the internet, local radio stations.
But even local, CFWE, I believe, is one of them that are really, really good at, supporting local artists and playing all different genres of music and all different artists. Local or, those that are already being played.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Even if you say you're listening to this and you're thinking, well, I'm going to start phoning these certain radio stations and tell them to play your music. No, no.
No.
Then that's where, like I said earlier, if you do that, then they're like, oh, you must be related, and we're not going to play their song.
Well, you never know. You got to take a chance.
This is true. You never know, right?
I believe in our songs. Let them call.
Yeah. Ring those phones.
Oh man. Yeah. But I don't think that many people call in anymore. Like I really
I
don't
don't know.
think
Is that a thing anymore?
I don't know.
Yeah,
they call for
the contests, or if they're doing trivia or whatever. Yeah, they'll call in for that. But I don't know if they'll call in to request certain songs.
If you're one person that does do that, tell us about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, put in the comments below. Let us know if you're one that calls the radio stations and say you should be, or maybe you see them out in the public at a concert and something going, how come you're
should be playing sweet
yeah
sugar and spice.
Yeah, I know. Because it used to be a thing, like years ago, I think the older generation would probably still do that, but I don't know if that'd be something that the younger generation would do.
Don't know.
They would text them.
Maybe.
Yeah. I don't even know if they would do that. Yeah.
Things have changed.
I don't think that's a thing anymore. So, yeah. So it's and some of you might be thinking, oh, well, you chose to be in music. You have to know all these costs and everything.
I had no idea what I was getting into when I started this. It was the creative process.
Mm-hmm.
And then I really thought I had something that people could hear, like listen to, and I could share my music. And then it started.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I realized how much the cost was.
Yeah.
And then after that, it just compounded.
It was like interest.
No, it was just a rolling stone.
Yeah.
And it was,
and
chipping away at my funds all through it all. And that's not even mentioning the equipment I purchased.
That's another thing. Yes, the equipment and the instruments that we have to have in order to have a quality sound.
Yeah.
Because, that's another thing the general public don't know is don't realize is that the cheaper the equipment, the cheaper the instruments, when you have an ear for music, then the quality goes down. So now you have to have quality instruments, quality equipment, quality sound, so that you're sounding really good. Because people are very critical these days. Very critical.
Radio stations are very critical.
Yeah. So if you have maybe you have a good song, but you're performing it through a crappy system, people are going to go, that sounds like crap. And they're not going to listen. Yeah. Right. So you have to have, great sound. It's almost like you have to sound perfect.
Yes.
Right.
Which reminds me, when you're recording, you're not just paying a producer or engineer, like you're paying musicians, session musicians. Yes. The musicians who have that quality sound and are perfectionists, right? And that's who the producers call. I remember paying between $100 and $150 per song, per musician.
Yeah.
So that added on top of the producer and everything else, right? So
and they have to have their quality instruments, their quality equipment, right?
So it's never ending.
It's never ending. So so we just wanted to really educate people as to what all really goes behind recording a song and getting it out so that you can hear it.
Yeah.
and just where we're not making a lot of money.
but sometimes the hope is that someone out there who is well known would actually maybe consider picking up one of our songs and recording it, their version, and putting it out there.
Yeah.
That's where the money is actually.
Yeah. Well, and somebody who's already famous. Yes. And they're already bringing in big dollars or whatever. So that would be awesome to get.
That's kind of my thing. I'm kind of thinking, and I've always thought that if somebody else that's really well known and out there, I'm just going to use Celine Dion as an example,
Right.
she's not country, of course, but she doesn't write her own material.
No.
As far as I know, she's never
There's
written
lots
her own.
of artists.
And they've songs that have been pitched to her
Mm-hmm.
and her team, you know, they chose certain songs. My Heart Will Go On, or whatever
Yeah.
song, has made the writer
Yes.
thousands and thousands of dollars.
Thousands,
To
millions.
millions.
Millions
I'm
and billions.
understating it,
Yeah.
but yeah, they can build homes,
Yeah.
$1 million homes from a song,
Yeah.
royalties
Yeah.
from a song that she's written or she's recorded.
Yes.
Sorry.
So that's another thing we didn't touch on is the cut of everybody that they get.
Yeah.
Right. So as independent artists, okay, so we wrote the song. We're putting out the songs ourselves. We're our own publisher.
We're self-managed.
We're self-managed. Yeah. So when we do get money from royalties or whatever, 100% comes to us. Now, if we had a label,
yeah,
if we had a publisher, then now that gets cut, that gets split between everybody. So the writers get a cut, the publisher gets a cut. If an artist, somebody else records our song, they get a cut. So now it's split in 3 or 4, maybe different, more than that, different ways. So
I just the thought of a thought or a saying, 100% of nothing is nothing.
Right?
Well, yeah, that maybe could apply. I guess it's just like all this.
Yeah. So yeah. So it's all of that that's involved with getting out a song or an album. Yeah. And so it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of cost. And like I say, I just wanted to really educate people of what really goes on behind the scenes, because when I get that question asked to me, how come I don't hear your song on radio?
There you have it, folks.
That's why.
And I think most important, when we do live shows and we get the feedback from our fans and from people out there that see us live, enjoy our music and appreciate our music, and then maybe they will follow us online and share our music.
Yes.
But we really do it for our fans. We do it for ourselves first because we enjoy it and are passionate about what we do, but we do it for others that enjoy what we do.
Yeah, that's right.
It just, that gives us this reason why we're doing it.
Yes. And it's in our souls. It's in the
Right?
blood.
I see music notes running through my veins right now. Yeah.
Yeah, it totally is, because there's been many times where we get very frustrated and we go, why do I keep doing this? And you do step back for a while, and then when you take that step back, then you are like, I miss it.
Yeah. I've done that a few times, and I've always been pulled back
in, and we know what the costs are going to be. We know what the work's going to be. Yeah, but it's because we love it. It's just, it's part of who we are. Yeah.
And when you work with people who are your equals, or you're amazed how well that will go. Like if you're in the same path, same thoughts, processes, and all, it really does make a world of difference.
It does.
We've got an award to prove that. Like, yeah,
it's hard to see because it's clear glass. But
clearly,
but yeah, just try to bring that up there.
It's a nice piece of glass. There you go.
Winning an award for our songwriting.
It doesn't pay the bills, but it does give us that feeling of accomplishment and feeling of worthiness that we've actually.
Yeah,
we're doing good. We're doing okay. We're on the right path.
Yeah, and we're nominated again this year, so for a couple of songs. So it's that's just like, wow. What we're doing is it's
like having a child and sending it off, and then like being so proud of them and saying like, make us proud.
Right?
We're pretty proud, yeah. But you should follow us.
Yeah.
If you aren't already. We can be serious, we can be goofy, we can be fun.
Yeah, that's right. And that's the fun. That's the other part of being in music too.
Fun. Okay.
So we hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, put some, if you have a comment, please comment below, and
Maybe share your experiences
yeah,
as a
exactly.
musician,
Mm-hmm.
the struggles you've gone through, and the the process you've gone through to actually get better and to accomplish
Yeah,
and get
exactly. Yeah.
further up in your career, if I can say
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So once again, hope you enjoyed this podcast, this episode about things the general public didn't know about the music industry. Cheers, everybody. Thank you for listening to today's Sugar and Spice podcast. We really appreciate you listening. We'd also appreciate if you could follow us on our socials on Facebook, Instagram, and our YouTube channel. Please go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. Follow us on Facebook and on Instagram. And please provide comments of how you enjoyed this wonderful podcast. We'd like to have fun, and we'd like to have our listeners have fun along with us.